Well, hey there, guys. How's it going? How's it going, folks? How are we doing? Ghosty, I'm never late. You're always early. Called it. No studio shutdowns. Absolutely. I am bald. You can see, you can see the few strands there, which means I'm not bald. They said that he can try and spin it however the way that idiot wants. The reality is they ain't shutting down. Now tell me, all right, guys, look. Before we start diving into all of this, I want to ask you a simple question. Right? With Undead Labs being sold and the game still in development and still funded by Microsoft, with to the as the deal agreed, is Undead Labs still making and releasing State of Decay 3? It's a simple yes or no answer. There's no trick question here. It's just a straightforward answer. The same thing applies to Ninja Theory with Senua. Are they still making the game? Yes or no? Yes. Now, what game is Bluepoint making? The question was, is Undead Labs and Ninja Theory still making games? Are they still in business? Are they still making the Senua and State of Decay 3 game? Well, we do know confirmed that they are making it, Ghosty. So we do have confirmation that they are because Microsoft is paying for their funding. So the answer is yes. There is no maybe, there is no ifs. The answer is yes. Microsoft is funding it after all. However, considering Reforge is saying that these are like shutdowns, what game is Bluepoint making? I'll just wait for that one. Anyone in chat? Can you tell me what Bluepoint is making? I'm just wondering what Bluepoint is making right now. Unemployment. God's sake. All right. So as you can see there, that is what a shutdown looks like. For studios that are still making games, they're fine. Nah, that was bang on. That was bang on. It wasn't too far. It wasn't too little. I think that was literally perfect because I think that's the only language Reforge will understand because you can't be that stupid. I mean, well, he can, evidently, but one has to hope that they won't. I don't think they're dying. I just think people are going to eventually accept it. And a lot of people have said a lot of things in the past few days. And I think they're all going to backtrack. I think they're all going to turn around and eat their own words and walk away. Yeah, you're right. Go say he's an idiot. I would never sing that song. By the way, this is completely off context of what we're talking about today while people are jumping in. But has the by-election between Farage and Binface actually happened? And please someone tell me that Binface won. I swear, if Binface ever wins, if he wins, That will be the greatest thing ever. I hope everyone votes for Bin Faced. You have no idea how much I want him, how much I want Bin Faced to win. It's crazy. Oh. If it's anything to do with Liverpool, it gets instantly vaporized. Vaporizio. Ah, that's very good. Very, very good. Very good. Actually, before we get into the main story, I wanted to show this. Now, I don't really like limited run because they take forever and their shipping is atrocious. But for those of you that are crying about physicals, there's this. Overpriced for sure. This is a technical demo. But they're selling all this to you for the good old price of $70. It's a nice little collection for Silent Hill fans. It didn't ever release on physical, so now's your opportunity for you physical lovers to go out and buy it. Silent Hill, the short message. I just wanted to show that because I saw it pop up today and it looked pretty cool. All right, so let's get to the main topic of the day. And of course, it's what the hell are you? Look, can you just piss off? Okay, good. Look, that thing was bigger than my PC. Drastic measures are needed to be taken. And they've taken all my bug spray as well. So Asha's reset has begun. 1,600 people roles have been eliminated today. My question for this is, the studios that are being, either divested or sold, are they included in that 1,600? I've been meaning to ask this question, and I want to say yes. I would like to say yes, that it's part of the equation. Thank you for the 5, Devastator. So Harmon is getting strikes on his channel from Kino Casino, and instead of admitting posting their clips was a bad idea. What? What? There has to be a bigger story. There has to be. I don't know who Kino Casino is, but is he like using his content like crazy? Like just posting his content and not doing any transformative stuff? But why is he blaming Frit for? Man, that guy just, I don't even understand him anymore. That's a good question. You'd assume so. Otherwise, it would be even worse. That's the point I'm trying to think of, right? I would assume it is. Now, between those 4 studios, they would have what? Maybe 400, 500 staff? Around there, would you say? Maybe 600 collectively between all of them? So the eliminations are down to 1,000 instantly. I'm not trying to undermine anything here. I'm just saying that there's nuance in the numbers. Oh, he can't do that. That's a content theft. You need to make it transformative. And as one content creator once told me, if your reaction isn't equal to the amount of time it's taken for that video, then it's not transformative enough. So if it's a 10-minute video that they've posted, yours needs to be 20 minutes, or yours needs to be 10 minutes transformative or more. So that video becomes from 10 minutes to 20, 25 minutes. That's a good transformative video. But if you're posting a one-to-one clip like Digital Foundry did, who's now getting blamed for PlayStation going digital because they didn't name themselves Physical Foundry, that's actually a thing, I'm not joking, then yeah, he has every right to claim it. Banisher, you remind me of Brooklyn Nine-Nine when he's in the he's in the room with the commissioners and he's like, "Well, your mother and your mother." Yeah, he got fired. Ninja Theory is about 100 to 154. That's what I'm saying. So collectively, we're looking about 500-600 people. So if they're in that equation, that's a big chunk just removed entirely. When Peralta was just going crazy over them. Right, Compulsion Games is at 120. So let's say 130. So that's 250 already right there. From 2 studios. Oh, freezing cold drink is definitely undercards today. Let's see. ID got hit really hard, right? That was pretty rough. ID, I don't understand this one. I do, but it kind of sucks, right? I do kind of understand this one. I do, but not for the reasons that you guys are thinking. And this is something that I can relate all the way back to Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Double Fine is around 130 to 230. So let's say 160 to be fair over there. And, because we did go to the top end of the other two, you're looking at 400 people with just those 3. There's one more studio that got laid off. And if we look at that one, if they have 100 as well, you're looking at about 550, so 600 people just from those 4 studios. That's a big chunk of it just going off where they're not technically unemployed, right? I am, Paul. I am. So this one over here is a bit unfortunate, right? Because, sorry, guys, before I continue, can you hear the fans? Is the fan noise coming through? Yeah, Undead Labs is about 130. So, right, we're looking around 600 people in total. So if they are included in that 1,600, technically only 1,000 people got laid off. I say only, but it's still a large number of people. But it does actually, soften the blow even more. Now, the other 1,600 that's going to go later this fiscal year, that's going to hurt. Okay, great. Because I kind of need the fans today. Drastically. You hear the PlayStation fans? Well, I did send my PS4 Pro to someone. I can still hear them using it, even though they say they can't, because that thing, every time I put it on, I'd get a phone call from traffic control, air traffic control, asking me why I'm taking off. And I'd have to explain to them every time that it's just my PS4, but they wouldn't believe me. So Call of Duty Black Ops 7 tried something. Everyone was saying, we want something new. We want something different. Give us something different. And so they did try something different. And regardless of how some may feel about that game, commercially, it didn't do very well. It did nowhere near as good as the previous Call of Duties. Ultimately, you can even say that it flopped, right? You can argue that it flopped. They did the same thing here with Doom, the Dark Ages, and it flopped. Like, regardless of how some people, again, feel about this game, it didn't sell on PlayStation, it didn't sell on PC, and obviously Xbox has Game Pass, so it's not going to sell there either. So it didn't financially, I don't even know if they made a return on it. I know they had a DLC coming, which they promised, and people bought into it, so they have to deliver that, unless they want another Redfall disaster in their head. But it just goes to show that just because people are asking for something different doesn't mean you have to listen to them. And unfortunately, half the time, it means that if it doesn't actually do well, the studio goes. It kind of sucks. Yeah, the DLC comes out tomorrow, but the game did not sell. You may have the disc, but only a portion of the game is on there. And this is kind of like the bigger issue here. Companies that, Phil Spencer was after all these passion projects and all of this, but they're not returning numbers. Kiln is a Game Pass filler. And I think, honestly, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, or maybe some of you might even have the same idea, but I think if if it wasn't for Phil Spencer, a lot of these studios would have been off long time ago with the amount of zero return and overhead costs that they were doing. And Asha has confirmed what I said, right? Asha confirmed what I've been saying all along, and I know some of you disagreed with me, and that is fine. But here you have Asha pretty much saying, Chaos, I don't know what type of intuition you have, what type of mystic knowledge you have, but I'm impressed. You are right. I still won't take the job, though, because there's no job security in the games industry. But she says, our business today is not healthy. We are operating at margins that are 3 to 10 times lower than comparable platform and publishing businesses. We entered Gen 9 with a smaller install base and a higher cost structure. To grow, we bet on Game Pass. They did multi-platform came later, but they bet heavily on Game Pass. And they bought studios based on that. And then they doubled down on that when it wasn't working. And guess what happened when they doubled down and it wasn't working? They tripled down and bought even more with the hope that by adding like a plethora of games to Game Pass, it would somehow hit that 200 million subscriber count that they've been dreaming for, and it didn't work. And I think that has been a huge drain on them ultimately for their studios. Damn straight, Kage. Damn straight. We the masters of that shit. Vague does that as well. I do. I have Visions of Mana. It's a good game. Here's the thing, though. I play Kiln at least once a day. I usually put it on, play a couple of games, and then I put it down. There's some horrible players on there. I'm telling you now. People are they're just brutal. But anyway, I digress. I personally am enjoying Kiln as a pick up and play game and putting it down. But if it wasn't on Game Pass, I wouldn't have bought it. Right? I wouldn't have bought it. Some of these games just don't need to exist. Game Pass works if there's exclusive. If they're exclusive to Game Pass, then yeah. But what game has ever been exclusive to Game Pass? Chaos, do you think Sony have shit the bed this time? DCG is going full Xbox dead to protect. The Dreamcast guy's a moron. Ignore him. No. Sony is just going to weather the storm. Eventually, it's going to die down. Look, if I look at my timeline now, all the media is hating on Xbox. You got PlayStation fans hating on Xbox. Very few are even, on my timeline anyway, talking about the PlayStation debacle. When a week ago, it was nothing but PlayStation physical this and digital that. It was all over my timeline. Now the same culprits, be it Nibs or anyone, they're all just bashing Xbox. They don't even give two shits about the digital physical thing. It's over. It's exactly what Sony wanted. Sony calculated this to absolute perfection, and they delivered on it in amazing style. They knew that the moment Xbox's news came out, these people would, are jumping onto the next big story. They're not going to hang around Sony, and, they were right. Hey, what's up, brothers? Game Pass is how I sometimes find gems like Dredge that I never would have played. That's fine, but are they getting... The problem is, Microsoft is giving them a pot of money for Dredge, for example, but how that distributes into unit sales, I don't know. And they still need the unit sales. See, the thing is with a game like Dredge, it's okay because it's on other platforms as well. It's third party. It'll get the sales, individual sales from PC. It'll get it from PlayStation. It'll get it from Nintendo. But a first party game changes because if it's on Game Pass and both your platforms, PC and Xbox, have Game Pass, you're kind of in a bit of a bind there, right? Is it though? Man, why are these fans breathing hot air on me? I don't like it. I'm not seeing it. Oh, you mean on PlayStation's X post? Yeah, but people were posting on their timeline. I was seeing so many different. The only people that weren't really posting anything, Puerto Rock went into hiding for 6 days. Only came out yesterday. A bunch of others also went into hiding, and it wasn't until where is it? Let me see if I can find it for you guys. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So there's one. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Let's bring that there. There we go. It wasn't until Mr. PlayStation Saved My Account came along that no, this wasn't it. This wasn't it. This wasn't it. It was another one of Colin's posts, which I don't think I have. Let's see if I can find it. No. Here we go. This is the one. The very same people who vociferously led Microsoft's mindless M&A spree and religiously supported Game Pass while it was clearly failing are now going to explain to you how and why it all went wrong. And that's when all of them came out. I'm talking all of them. They all came out in spades. It only took the godfather of PlayStation to come out, and they were all here, man. They all came out. They all came out. You got some PlayStation defenders, Xbox defenders in there, but my God, did they all come out fighting? These absolute idiots. But until then, they said nothing. I mean, look at this one, right? This is his takeaway. Is the future of Xbox primarily pushing mobile gaming just because Asha Sharma wanted Mojang and King reporting directly? Like, what sort of takeaway even is that? Like, come on. It's like I said, they were all in hiding until Papa PlayStation came out and made it. Whose name has changed? No, Steve hasn't changed his name. But this was the only other person that I saw that was actually between him and MBG. Those are only two people that I'm seeing that are still in the good fight. I want to clarify that Sony destroying game discs will lead to millions of job losses. That's why I can't focus on this. And good on him for even, posting that. That is great acknowledgement. I mean, Colin will then turn around and say, I said Bethesda. I didn't say id. And they're not the same, are they? And so he will use that as his get out clause, even if people knew exactly what he meant. But there's a lot of good stuff that happened here as well, right? Management who were responsible, they're gone, right? The fact that their platform teams are 40% larger than they were when they started Generation is crazy. But 14 layers of management is insane. How anything got approved or sanctioned or passed is a wonder. The fact that they're reducing it down to 5 and where possible 3 is a much better, streamlined and quicker delivery of responses. Mojang doesn't even make mobile games, really? I know, Vital, I know. You like it, right, Kage? You liked it, didn't you? 14 is ridiculous. How you get anything done in that situation, I don't know. But can you imagine the amount of delays that would cause? Like, if you wanted to push through something, it would have to go through all 14 of them. Thank you for the dive, Devastator. Not just the ponies, even the media said that they were closing down. And I told you guys, watch them come out and say that none of them are closing down on Monday. And it happened. None of them have closed down. Not one. Do you know what's the best defense PlayStation fans had against me? They said I was cheering for the Bungie layoffs. When have you guys ever heard me cheering for the Bungie layoffs? Now, I know there's a few of you in here that don't like Bungie. I mean, I don't like Pete Parsons. I think he's an absolute scumbag. But I did like Destiny. But I did say to myself that because of Pete, I wouldn't go there anymore because until Sony kicked him out, I didn't want to touch a product that he was invested in. Right? Thank you for the 5, Devastator. But when have you guys ever heard me, ever, over the last 6 months, cheer on any layoffs? I've said that I don't care. 9:33 on the Twitter. That would be daft. I've never cheered for layoffs. I've said I don't care about them. And I stand by that because I don't know any of these people. People come and go. It's, layoffs happen all the time. It's all about the clicks, man. It's all about the clicks. What about Rare? Rare didn't even come into the equation. Do you remember what one of the journalists said? That apparently outside of Rare, they were barricading the door. They got security not letting anyone in. Not even a mention of Rare. Remember what we were talking about earlier, yeah, Ghosty? It wasn't me. It's the best denial you can ever get. Even if you were caught red-handed. It wasn't me. Yeah, Woodpit, that's what they were posting. Oh man. So there was 2 layoffs that really brought a smile to my face. And I don't care how people may get upset about this because it's a layoff. I've never been happy about layoffs because don't I don't think it's nice. But this guy getting laid off, I was happy. I was. Him getting laid off brought such a smile to my face. And I hope that he never gets employed in the games industry ever again. That's my hope. This is the guy from Avowed who said, reminder to black artists out there who are looking for portfolio reviews or job advice. My DMs are open and you will always have my priority. We've got too many crusty white dudes in this field. How Microsoft didn't fire this piece of shit, I don't know. Please let me help you replace me one day. Guess what, buddy? You've been replaced. And I'm well happy about it. And I hope you're happy about it too. And that's another one dead. So this is the art director for Avowed. Let me help you replace me one day. Ooh, I shall replace you straight away, you racist piece of shit. Not in my society, it's not. And then there's this one, Solaris. I was one of the dozens of devs laid off at Obsidian today. Incredibly privileged to have landed my dream job right after school. Obsidian was an amazing place to work. The cancer Xbox. And I've always been an Xbox hater. Well, why the was he still working there? Fun fact, I don't even own my own game on their shitty console. Well, it's a good thing they got rid of you. Another +1 to justice. I mean, guy, do you know what? See, stuff like this, I am pro getting rid of them and kicking them out and firing them. But to the ones that, don't deserve it, I feel bad for them. And I do feel bad for IdTech because they're a good company that, they did something different and it didn't sell. It didn't work. Yeah. They think because they're over at Blue Sky, no one sees them, but you've got people over there stalking all of these accounts and posting it on X so everyone can see their laundry. They're idiots. No, it's over at Blue Sky, man. Who the hell's going to go to Blue Sky? He must be the only guy that bought the Outer Worlds 2. This is another game that just didn't sell well, right? So neither Avowed or Outer Worlds sold well. They just didn't hit that level of quality mark that, was expected. Of course, they're on Blue Sky. It sounds like, why are you so evil, Chaos? I'm not evil. I need to care to be evil. But these two guys, they deserve it. This one especially, I wanted him gone from when this originally got posted. Right? When this originally came out into public airing, I wanted him out, and Microsoft defended him. For what reason, I don't know. But they did. They did. But Xbox is restructuring. The 100 days is, gonna be a big, massive up and down. I thought this was really interesting. They've hired a new COO with end-to-end P&L responsibility across content. So all games have to now make a profit. Hardware needs to be, I guess, not profitable, but at least if it's subsidized, bringing in the profits to make it self-sustainable. I don't really know what they meant by the platform. I guess Game Pass, but then you have services as well, which I would assume is Game Pass. But it looks like all of this now is going to need to be, enforceable. Well, not enforceable, accountable. I think the big part that a lot of people, well, at least I kind of stood on, where is it? Because this was a long post. Where is it? 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 No, 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 no. Yeah, this bit here. She will bring our business together under one operating system, making sure we make clear investment decisions, learn from our successes and failures, and hold ourselves accountable for results. That's really, really important. As long as they follow through with that, that's great, because she previously said they'll reduce management layers to no more than 3 and possibly 5. They'll deliver on successes through a flatter organization that is built around makers, individuals who contribute towards focused building, player coaches, leaders who remain deeply involved in the work while developing their teams, and directly responsible individuals, DRIs, who own key decisions and outcomes. So if they screw up, if a game gets delayed, if anything happens, these DRI people are going to be responsible. They will have all accountability on them. You'll be able to point that finger and say, this is on you because you were responsible for this. This is on you. And then they will have to answer for it. So this direct channel of accountability is that Microsoft didn't have before. Is good that they have it now. These companies and studios and management and senior advisors, whatever you want to call it, they can't mess around no more and just say, oh, it wasn't my fault. Let's get rid of Tom, Dick, and Harry over there so I can cover my back. They can't do that anymore. They have to take responsibility for it and explain why they failed to deliver. That is, to me, that's a good thing. You'll be buying it on Senua on Steam. You see, despite Microsoft saving your favorite game, State of Decay, there's still no loyalty there. It's typical of a Scouser, isn't it? Asha is cooking. She's making the big changes that need to be made, and I think that's a good thing, right? I think that's what's happening here. But let's not take away from the jobs that are lost. It's unfortunate, but it happens, and it's not great. And I don't think anyone should be cheering job losses. I've seen people cheering job losses, both on the Xbox side and the PlayStation side. I don't think people should be cheering about them. Ultimately, it is what it is, and people should move on. They didn't put it at risk. They didn't put it at risk. They did what was, what I would say is the minimum that they should be doing in finding them a new home. And they did. They could have easily shut them down and you wouldn't have got the game at all. So, be a good boy. Go back to that shrine of Asha Sharma and praise Lord Xbox, Queen Asha, for delivering to you your State of Decay 3. You can now throw away your Gaben shrine. You know what, Ghosty? I was actually saying earlier on my stream after you left, I would love it. Love it. This is reminding me, I think it was Kenny Dalglish back in the Newcastle days against Man United. But I would absolutely love it if State of Decay 3 turned out to be this multi-million selling game that everyone was playing, that it went viral. It sold insanely, Kevin Keegan. And, you know, the execs over at Microsoft are just going to look at that and go, yeah, we fucked up. I would love it. Wait, he's back on board again? When did it go off? I thought he was back on board for a while. Does this guy like, oh, there's bad Xbox news, bad Xbox bad, and then as soon as things get back on rail, his Xbox good? God, why do people even give him the time of day? What should happen is everyone should collectively just block him on X so he has no one to talk to and no one to cry to. Ghosty, that will probably be one of the most memorable moments for me in football. It was great. Sacre bleu, Ghosty. Sacre bleu. But we do have some news about Arcane. Now, as you know, they're in some sort of form of a French council meeting that needs to happen because they can't really do anything with the French studio. But the news from Blade is not good, right? The news from Blade is not good. The game was supposed to release this year. It was supposed to release this year, and they've asked for a 2-year delay. I'd love that too because we would have another healthy live service game. Won't happen though. The ceiling is around whatever the peak of. Now, what we're going to get is a Halo multiplayer game, MMO FPS. That's what's going to revolutionize the gaming industry. You'll see it. To jump ship to green next gen. Nah, he's going to say PlayStation. He always will. Apparently, yes, Vague. They've asked for another 2 years. And when you consider the amount of overheads, development costs, and everything that's going to be added on top for those extra 2 years, they've already blown the budget. So that I don't know if a lot of you know how like these projects work. You basically sell the project, and you say, right, I want this project for $1 million. You budget yourself for 800,000, and then 200,000 of that is profit. Right? That's just a very, very layman explanation. These guys have not only just spent that 800,000 already, and it's not even hit the release date. They've blown the extra 2,000 as well, 200,000. So right now, the project itself is bleeding money. It's making no profit whatsoever. And they want another 2 years on top of that to finish the game. In all honesty, I can see, and this may be the one that Steve actually gets right, I can see this getting cancelled. I can see this one getting cancelled. E ranks. I think what will happen, Microsoft won't shut the studio down, but they will try to sell the studio to someone else with the IP attached to it, and then it becomes their problem and not Microsoft's. Microsoft will take the hit on the 800,000 or the million or whatever it is that's cost them already, and they'll just write it off. Yeah, the initiative was another one that just didn't do anything, and but it, has I don't think there's been a single pixel showing of Blade. Not one. We've seen like the CGI intro, but I don't think we've actually seen any form of footage. There's probably a get out clause in their E ranks, but what Microsoft is probably going to try and do now is pass on the burden to someone else that wants to deal with it. I think they're kind of done. How do you I mean, projects are overburnt often, but to be 2 years out from delivery, I think they should just cancel it, get rid of it, and then whatever happens to Arcane happens. Yeah, but I mean, we've seen some, right, in game through their trailers. Check my Discord, my digga Discord. Okay, I will check it. Really? Really? All right, guys. I'm going to show you what he sent me. Apparently, at Microsoft right now, there is a first person Daredevil game being made, and the first footage has been released. There you go. Gaming. That's the that's the whole point. He's blind. It's first person. You've got it right here. Here's the first footage of it, Devastator. The first in-game footage of playing it in first person. Depending on the graphics card. But this can easily run somewhere in the region of 9,000 FPS. This is when he's just stationary. He only sees that when he's making sound. There's no sound. It runs at 300 FPS. Very cool. Okay, this was funny. I like this one. That was funny. But yeah, so apparently Arcane have requested another 2 years, and I think Amy turned around and said, "Look, buddy, you're already overburning. We're making zero profit on this project, and you want another 2 years, I don't think that's going to happen. And so that's why there's this big kind of situation now with Arcane. They kind of put themselves in it, if you ask me. Bit unfortunate. Undead Labs did release this, though. Today, Undead Labs begins a new chapter. We're transitioning out of Xbox. And while we can't share all the details just yet, we can tell you this. State of Decay 3 is still coming. The team is working hard, and our commitment to this community has never been stronger. More news soon. Survivors stick together. Now, I said all along, right, that this one didn't make sense being cancelled, considering how much footage they showed and whatnot. I'm guessing this just didn't fit into Microsoft's plans of them assuming big sales or whatever it was. I don't really know, and I'm not going to even try and guess. But the fact that this one, I always said that this is not getting cancelled because it didn't make sense. And it's not. It is living on in another way, another form, but it is living on. So for those of you that had any doubts that this was kind of not coming, not being a real thing, it is. You did, Devastator. However, Undead Labs, a Seattle-based studio behind the upcoming zombie game State of Decay 3, which was just shown off by Microsoft at its June gaming showcase, is planned to continue under a new owner. Microsoft has entered terms with a new owner, so the terms have already been agreed, though the parties are not yet ready to announce who that will be. I think it's going to be 2K. Personally, I think 2K are going to be the ones to take these guys in because, I don't know, I kind of see it as it fitting their portfolio. I think 2K will be the one. Likely later this summer, a source familiar with today's restructuring plan told GameFile, the deal calls for continued funding from Microsoft and eventual release of State of Decay 3, but will not obligate the game to any Xbox controlling terms, such as having to be on Game Pass. So as the studio goes over, Microsoft is still going to provide funding to the game, but there is no obligation that they have to put it into Game Pass. And it looks like for the time being, it is not day one on Game Pass. This was GameFile, who's generally quite good. Sega enters the chat. Sega actually would probably be another good one, right? Kastrov. Can you imagine Joker being in there in State of Decay 3? Having Sonic in there, running around, spin dashing the zombies. Having Big the Cat doing the fishing for you. Yeah, they've removed it. Brother Grimm no said Blade cancelled. But yeah, so I don't see this one being, but you know, at least they're still getting the funding to get it done. Now you need the Joker in there, man. You need the Joker from Persona 5. He's everywhere now, man. Or better yet, do a collaboration with Nier Automata. 2B would be like the greatest distraction. And you guys were like, why is Chaos dead again? No idea. No idea. Well, you know, they could partner up with Nintendo and bring in Bayonetta. Just saying, all of these characters fit the world of State of Decay perfectly. All this took me. I don't want folks to lose their job, but these studios were taking the piss with their output. They were cosmic. They were. They were. You know, it's been silly, and honestly, the level of But at the same time, cosmic. I think Microsoft, you know, needs to shoulder a lot of that failure as well, because they were responsible for making sure these projects, you know, dumb projects don't get greenlit. There were also, you know, they've also got people there that are supposed to go around these studios to see if these games are progressing well, being good, what they're up to, what they're doing. And a lot of that wasn't done from Microsoft HQ. But here's the thing with Undead Labs, right? Here is the thing with Undead Labs. And this one is the one that I don't quite understand, right? So State of Decay 2 doesn't have any microtransactions. And I think I think I just saw Ghosty say it as well in chat, but they were still making content on State of Decay 2 which has no monetization. That's a problem. So instead of working on the third game, which will bring money in, they've been working on add-on content for the second game that's bringing in no money. Yeah, you need microtransactions, man. Something to get people to continue spending to fund the game. And I think that's the biggest issue. A lot of these games, if they're going to be having a continued service, you need microtransactions to fund it. Unless the game turns around and does a, you know, like that Chameleon game and sells 15 million units, or, you know, they do a No Man's Sky where every time they cut the price down by 50%, they end up selling another 5 million units. That sort of thing is, you know, a lot of funding. But if they're not doing that, then you kind of have a bit of a problem, because you're working on a project that's not bringing you sustained revenue. Why so serious? You're talking about Transformers. No, we're not talking about those right now. Optimus Prime is fine where he is. You know, if the game is making like a lot of sales, then you can kind of do that. But I don't think State of Decay 2 ever hit those heights of sales. I don't know the actual numbers. I'm just saying I think, because, you know, it's not been a game that went absolutely viral, selling tens of millions of units. I want to try No Man's Sky, but that game is a lot for a noob. See what I would say to that, Kage. Wait for a sale, buy it on sale, because they do the sales all the time for investment drive. It's like $20. I think it was on Game Pass as well at one point. I don't know if it still is. It may still be on Game Pass. Try it out, play it for a little bit. Don't, you know, go crazy on it. Just play it to your own satisfaction, and that's it. Move on from there. Oh, it is. See, it's on Game Pass as well. You have no ammo on me. You have fake Photoshop stuff, which is weird. You see, Devastator loves me. He knows what I like. I swear to God, if this is DCG, I'm going to ban you. Oh, dang. Okay, he did good. I can't show any of this on stream in case I might get banned, but they look good. They look good. I was only joking about the ban, by the way. I'll have to check these out. I think I've heard of this creator before. I think I've heard of him before. Cancel Gears of War E-Day? Apparently it almost was because Steve wouldn't buy everyone a copy of the game. Nah, nowhere near. Share with the class. Another. Thank you for the two Devastator. Another cultured person I see. I hate building in games. Me too. Why so serious? I stay away from them. There are some really good games out there that I really would like to play, but it sucks. But there's an important update from the Compulsion Games. Let's read it through. When Compulsion Games was founded in 2009, that is correct, 2009, as an independent studio, we were just a few dreamers in a leaky old gramophone factory devoted to creating rich storylines and experiences that felt handcrafted. We care about the craft of making games, the stories we tell, the players who experience them, and the assembled creators who put their heart and soul into doing something different. See, that's the thing. Doing something different makes you unemployed. That is the current trend today. The PC market is different. They're just weird. Stuff goes viral there that doesn't make any sense. But in the console market, you can't do different. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is a prime example of why you can't do different, because even if that different is actually a good different, it's not the Michael Bay different. People want Michael Bay in those things. They want the Black Ops 6 game, not the Black Ops 7. People just don't like different. Today, we're sharing that Compulsion Games will return to independent management following our time as part of Xbox. As part of this transition, we will retain the rights to Contrast, We Happy Few, and our award-winning South of Midnight. I'm really happy that Xbox has decided to give them the games, the IPs. I think that was another nice touch from Microsoft, giving them that. I mean, let's face it, Microsoft wouldn't have done anything with these IPs anyway. So it's good that they gave them. We're grateful for the years we spent with Xbox, for the support they provided our team. I mean, if South of Midnight is true, 100 million and they made 10 million back. Oof. And for the opportunity to bring these games to players around the world. As an independent studio, we're excited to continue building the distinctive games that define Compulsion while taking the next steps in our journey. Our immediate priority is to support our team throughout this transition period. We are confident in the future of Compulsion Games and look forward to this next chapter where one thing will remain constant. We will create unique games that tell important stories, all with the goal of touching the hearts and minds of our players. I really hope we get a South of Midnight 2 one day. I hope you're not closing the doors. How can you win awards but still let go from Xbox? They didn't make money. Money is what makes the world go round. Come on, guys, you have a cash flow burn rate problem. Probably enough to pay the rent for 6 months. Xbox didn't can them to save PR. They cut them loose with their IP. That means absolutely no one wanted to spend money on the IP. Now, one thing I will say, I don't have any slides for this, is Double Fine. Double Fine. How much was Double Fine sold back to Tim Schafer? While you guys come up with some miraculous numbers, guessing, I will have a look at this. Have a look at the chat. Gamers are so complacent. I'm glad I quit the hobby back in 18. Why would you want to quit gaming? Gears is exclusive, unfortunately. Damn, Gorsty. How did you know? How did you know? It was $1, yeah. And they get to keep all their IP as well. Xbox gave Tim Schafer the whole studio back, full ownership for $1. South of Midnight only won the DEI awards. It did, yeah. 50 million. I'm seeing lots of $1. It was $1. It's a way for Microsoft to sell it and give Double Fine a chance to fund themselves. Not only is I think Microsoft is also part funding. So apparently Double Fine has some big games in incubation that they're working on. They've got like major releases, a big major release that they're working on. There's no indication of what it is. It could be Psychonauts 3, it could be something else. But it's their next big project that's been in development for the past 3-4 years. The game's Keeper and Kiln were basically passion projects that were built by the people not working on that big major project. And so instead of getting rid of those people who had no real reason to be there, they decided to let them work on passion projects that, could fill Game Pass. But apparently there is a big game coming, and I think Microsoft is funding part of it because they want the game to be on Xbox as well. So there's that to look forward to, whatever it actually ends up being. Right, brothers. So I think, in terms of how Xbox has pushed ended the relationship with these 4 studios has actually been very amicable, if you ask me. You were in those comments? What comments? Big Bad Mo? Kage Keeper is very good. It's about 4 or 5 hours long. You can rush it faster. I really enjoyed my experience with it. Definitely worth playing. Actually, another game that I played over the week, I think it might have been on Sunday, actually, or maybe Monday. I'm not really sure. Was a Netflix game called Unhinged. It literally is about 25 to 30 minutes long. Give or take about 30 minutes. You need to use your mobile phone to play it. Check it out. It's pretty fun. It's a pretty good game. I recommend it. It's going to take 30 minutes of your life away, but it is definitely worth playing. I enjoyed Contrast, but We Happy Few so much. But I love, South of Midnight I really enjoyed. I really did enjoy that. Why does Bethesda employees seem to hate Xbox? Everyone hates Xbox. Are you surprised? The big thing about ZeniMax employees, in particular, what is it? It looks like the Fallout 76 and the Elder Scrolls Online teams are pretty much gutted entirely. It's really good, Navy. It's really good, and it's got Sadie Sinks in it as the voice actor, Troy Baker, and I think her name is Chloe Kravitz. Am I saying that right? I think that's her name. It's something Kravitz anyway. She plays in that Sadie Sinks is the one from, I think, Stranger Things. Troy Baker, everyone knows. And Kravitz, I think, is from June. But I'm not 100% sure. Zoe Kravitz, that's the one. It's a good 30-minute experience. You connect your mobile phone. You use it as a torch for most of the time, and you've got like indicators to turn left, right, walk forward, and whatnot. You'll get calls on your phone. You'll get text messages that will tell you stuff and whatnot. It's a really cool interactive experience. I personally hope that they make more of this. It was I had a lot of fun playing it. But yeah, as it seems like the teams behind Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online have been really badly gutted. Kasha, High Moon Studio make future Halo games. We don't know, Rabbi. I mean, there's no indication that they're even working on anything Halo. It's just a rumor. Any words of Tales of Annihilation? None as of yet. It's been a game I'm following and keeping an eye on, but there is nothing there as of yet for Tales of Annihilation. Or Twin Fates, I think it's called, or Twin Threads. A Tale of Threads or something like that. It's an RPG that looks amazing as well. So yeah, it's a real. I hope that doesn't signal the end of the Elder Scrolls Online because it's making money, it's getting updates all the time, and there's a good player base there. So I don't really see the reason why they would look to be closing those two down, especially if they are making money. Is people who are not in tech are not tech smart enough to configure the phone to play the game. You don't even need to. You don't even need to be tech smart. Essentially, you go when the game boots up, it asks you to connect your controller, and then it pretty much tells you what to do. All you need to do is connect your phone to Bluetooth. Uh, it's got you put your camera on, and on the screen it's got a QR code. You scan it, press the button, and then it basically connects to your phone that way through the QR code. You don't even have to connect it via Bluetooth. Sorry, it does all of that for you simultaneously. It's really intuitive the way it works. It works better through Wi-Fi than without Wi-Fi. So I recommend using Wi-Fi. They also recommend you use Wi-Fi. I tried it with and without Wi-Fi to see what it was like. Connection was a bit on and off without the Wi-Fi, but it works. I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 on and off, but I'm still playing it, Gorsty. But yeah, from what I've read, that the team has been he sent. Oh god, it's a spider, isn't it? It's a spider. It's a spider. Oh, it's not. I've never seen this game from the Commodore 64 era. Where the hell are these things coming in from? I've never seen this game before. Interesting. Of Vidation Monty. Interesting. I'll check that out later. Thanks. What did Asha say? She said they are going to be lean and agile, and she's doing what she said. I don't understand what people are not getting. She pretty much told you what's going on from the start. Uh, that's why not many people are complaining outside of non-Xbox fans. But gutting the whole live service team for ZeniMax seems a bit weird, especially if they were making money, which from what I was reading, they were making money. Rabia did just answer. Oh, wait. Please. I would like nothing more, Rabbi, than to see a Halo MMO. Halo MMO would be amazing. Is NTE getting a lizard girl today or tomorrow? Yes, they are. Her name is Shinku. The game is called, as I said earlier, Aufweidischen Monty. I think I'm pronouncing that German correctly. And if I'm not, I apologize for my poor pronunciation. Yeah, I've always wanted to jump into Fallout 76, but the fact that it wasn't crossplay at the time really was a problem. Like if you have it on Xbox, you can't play with people on PlayStation or PC. It was just so stupid. And Elder Scrolls Online, that was one of the big reasons I didn't jump into it either. Like if I want to play it on Xbox and my friends are playing it on PC or PlayStation, I should be able to play with you. I know you can do that now, but that came so many years late, man. Raichi, I would probably assume what's going to happen there. I wouldn't say AI is going to maintain it, but I think what's going to happen is they're going to bring in people from other parts of the studio to work on it, to maintain it. Didn't the other Halo project get cancelled too? So you're talking about Project Eco, right? If that's what you're talking about, Project Eco. Here's no, here's the thing. Pretty much reached their max growth that ESO 76 would get, because at this point, anyone who isn't already playing it just groans whenever it's not Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5. I, I get that, but I also feel like people have invested a lot of their time and money into these games, and just killing it is not the right thing. Like, like what happened to Destiny, right? They could have gone in and fixed the problems with the development team and the development of the project, streamlined it, come to a agreement of smaller updates but more frequent to get them out, rather than having like so many people working on things. But to make a game like that just disappear, because essentially once service ends, that's it. It can stay there in maintenance mode all it wants, but the game is dead. And so I feel like that's not the right approach either, because people have spent a lot of time on it and stuck by it when the game was bad, especially Fallout 76. That launched as a disaster. And was I glad they're dropping the contractors? I mean, contractors are easy come, easy go. Chaos would be trying to play 76 on PlayStation. No, I mean I own it on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. I just never played. I mean, I played it for a little bit. The intro. I came out of the vault and whatnot. Did a few missions, but it's kind of meh on your own. And then my friends was like, "Hey, do you want to play it on? Do you want to team up? I'm on PlayStation." I was like, "All right, cool." Oh, sorry, you can't team up, and that's when I gave up. Games like that, any live service should be, crossplay, especially if it's available on multiple formats. It's dumb. Is Elder Scrolls Online? Oh no. Okay, so I'm. Oh God. No! What are you doing, Paul? Fuck, man, that's disgusting. That's so, man, that's so bad. I've banished it from my stream, from my Discord. It, but yeah, you know, a game like that just needs as many people playing it, and unfortunately, it didn't have it. It's the same thing with ESO, like limiting it to just one platform. Like, in whose mind was that a good idea? Like, can you imagine if you had World of Warcraft available on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, and each of them basically acted as a separate organism? Like, who does that actually benefit? And this is why I've always liked Final Fantasy 14, because whether it's on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, everyone is connected. It doesn't. You don't have to make sure that they've got your platform. You just turn around and say, "Hey, do you want to team up?" Sure, and you know it's going to work. It's a horrible spider. Obsidian. My God, where are they all coming from? I'm gonna have to clean this wall by tomorrow. Obsidian is losing around 25% of the studio to layoffs. So they're another studio, as we know. I think I might have covered this. This might be a double coverage, but they're losing 25% of their employees as well, which is a decent chunk. It's a quarter. But again, you know, this one didn't sell. It flopped. The Outer Worlds. Avowed flopped. It just didn't sell well. And it may be rated well, but it needs to sell well as well. Crossplay has gotten a lot more ubiquitous since ESO launched, even since when it's. Yep. I do like what Ubisoft does, and Microsoft kind of now does a lot of the same thing with their games, where Ubisoft says, connect to our network, our account, and all your cloud saves are saved there, and you can just switch between them whenever you want, between the PC version and thing. Even cross save is like a cool thing. I saw this spider in the UK one time. It was seriously the size of a Coke can, no exaggeration. At that point, you get a bomb suit, you grab you grab the explosive, throw it next to it, and just let it go off. It's worth it. Lean and agile basically means that they're cutting the fat. So, for example, let's say a studio has 100 people. The project effectively only needs 60 people to function correctly. Those 40 people that are there are gone. That's the fat. So when they say more lean and agile, that's the lean part. Now the agile part, let's say for example, oh, well, you've got 10 people working as part of that 60 people now who are there for the experience for Unreal Engine. But we've got Coalition over there who are the Unreal Engine kings and queens of Unreal Engine. No other studio in Xbox can do Unreal better than them. So they'll get rid of those 10 people as well. And if there's any need for help with Unreal Engine, they'll use Coalition to fill in that gap. And that's what they mean by that. That's what they mean by the agile part. So they'll use people from other aspects of the company to fill in the gaps where needed. And that's really, in a big business with so many studios like Microsoft, that is how it should have operated in the beginning. None of this, everyone has their own Unreal, expert in their teams or Unreal expert teams within their teams. Coalition are there as the masterminds. Let them deal with it. The whole thing was just badly managed. But like I said, if Game Pass had 200 million subscribers now, Phil would still be here, Sarah would still be here, and no one would care. All these games would be flooding into Game Pass day and date, including Call of Duty. Right? But it didn't happen. And that's why you're seeing these changes now. Big Bad Mo, I understand that. And it never did end up like that. And that's why they're in the position they're in. That collaborative nature just wasn't there. I mean, even when Starfield launched originally at 30 FPS, you can put a normal 30 FPS game and Starfield's launch side by side, and Starfield's version was a lot smoother because of Coalition and just how good they actually are. Was it Coalition or id? One of the two. But they came in and worked their magic with the double frame output, and it just looks so much smoother. No, big man. I totally get it. I totally get it. But that's why you kind of, that's why we're seeing a lot of these changes right now. I don't know if Carl is still in the chat. Backlog, Carl. Legend of the Overfiend. Doom Dark Ages right now probably has a higher count, mainly because of the new DLC that dropped today. Was mostly just the engineering listings. Oh, no. Oh. Hey, Susanna. Yeah, again? ID tech should have been used for Halo instead of Unreal. The reason why, see, this is the thing. They went with Unreal because it's a universal engine. And most people will know how to use Unreal. But I also feel that by going to Unreal, you're also putting your whole business into the hands of Epic. And if anything goes wrong or the engine is bugged and you can't do anything, you can't fix it. Right? You have to wait on Epic to find a fix and release it. If you look at I think it's either Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves. One of the two is using Unreal Engine. I can't remember which it is. If it's not those two, it's another gacha game. But what they've done is they've modified the engine so much that Epic Games now has openly turned around and told them that we can't help you anymore. They were using Unreal Engine 4, but it's been modified so much that if they have a problem now, they're on their own. So you either get the base engine and then modify it to your heart's content, and then you kind of have to build off from there, because Unreal basically says, "Way, you modified it too much. We're done with you." Or you stay susceptible to their whims, and that's not a good place to be on either. Oh, it's Wuwa? Then it's Wuwa, yeah. I knew it was one of the two. I just wasn't sure which one. But that's the thing. That no matter what, being in that situation just isn't nice. And that's why I don't understand why the whole global gaming industry is going to Unreal. But in Microsoft's case, because they bring in so many contractors that they can employ up to 18 months at a time, and then they have to let them go as company policy, when they bring in new people, they need them to already be on board and ready to start. Maybe they'll have a month onboarding with the different way that Microsoft and the teams are using Unreal Engine, but it shouldn't take more than a month of onboarding. What's happened previously with their previous engines, it takes up to 6 months to onboard people fully onto the engine. They get 12 months of work, and then they have to do that whole thing again, and that's delayed projects a lot. So Microsoft's reasoning for going to Unreal was just for that reason, to get rid of the onboarding and release games faster. Zenith Zone Zero is starting to get problem with Unity. Everyone is having a problem with Unity. Unity is a problem. Well, given how closely Epic and the Coalition collaborates, that's probably not a problem. Xbox probably should use their in-house engines more widely, though. That's what I'm saying. Because put it this way: if anything goes wrong, you've got the team in-house to fix it instantly. That can immediately start working on it to reduce downtime. If it takes Epic 5 days to fix that problem, and if it's a massive showstopper that blocks development, then that's 5 days. Developers are just sitting there wondering what are they going to do next. And management hates that more than anything. It's Washington State. Oh, it's actually state law. Okay, I thought it was company policy. All right, never mind. And surprise, Microsoft is located in Washington State. Okay, that makes a lot more sense then. If what you are talking about, my wish of Chief needs to retire and I want my multiplayer Spartan will come true. If they did a Destiny, man, Big Bad Mo, this is the thing. Halo Studios can work on the single player Halo games, right? And if anyone's going to chime into that, you can have In Exile working on RTS Halo games, and you can have Activision with Vicarious Visions and High Moon working on a Destiny-like Halo game. So it doesn't all have to be under one roof. You can have all of it. Why they haven't expanded the Halo franchise is crazy. I know they had the Spartan Wars, Spartan Assault, and the Halo Wars, and they never really pushed them out anymore. It's just, I think that's a direction that they really should start looking into things. Halo is a massive IP, regardless of how people feel about it right now. It's still got a stigma to its name, whether it's good or bad. What do you think about the whole ID situation? If is really all that true? I think it sucks. I think it really sucks. And it's I don't know who's going to be maintaining the ID engine, but I think it absolutely sucks. But I also think it's a result of how bad Doom the Dark Ages sold, honestly. And it looks like they're trying now to make every game that they do work on Unreal Engine. They don't want anything to be custom engine. They want all their games to come out of one studio, one building, one route. But it sucks. It's not great. Vaguely Woodpit. I vaguely remember it. So the engine team, the team behind, maintaining the id engine, they've pretty much been laid off. 95 of members of them have been laid off. But it seems to be located just around the engine, which tells me that they're probably going to move to Unreal Engine. They've made the decision that they've got the license for Unreal. They don't need to maintain another one. They can get rid of that and then make the next Doom in Unreal Engine. Yeah, that's what it tells me, Bags. Ultimately, that's what it sounds like. If they're moving all their big franchises to Unreal Engine, any studio that has a department that maintains the engine is gone. And as harsh as that sounds, it seems it's the most logical thing. Because again, Coalition is about to get more busy, and they're going to be utilizing Coalition for a lot of the engine. So they're probably going to have a separate team in Coalition that just handles the engines for all of these different studios. And if they have a problem, they just reach out to Coalition and say, right, we need you to fix this. And if Coalition can't, then it goes back to Epic. Cesano, you are. But if things go horribly wrong, you don't need to pay people even more money to fix it. That's all covered in your licensing agreement. And that's another option, Big Mad, but I think they're going to go to Unreal Engine as well. But I just think ID Tech is such a good engine. If you look at games like Indiana Jones and Doom, I think they're so well optimized. It would be an absolute shame to lose that engine. Maybe they're just by Epic. No, leave Epic alone. Leave. But look, just don't be like this guy, right? Let's be real. The 4 studios leaving Xbox had 8 years and unlimited resources to make great games, and this is what they came up with: Undead Labs, no games at all; Compulsion, South of Midnight, which was a good game; Ninja Theory, Bleeding Edge. God, I don't even remember that game. I think it was a hero shooter. I think I remember seeing it at Exo 19, if I'm not mistaken, 7 years ago. Hellblade 2 was great. Double Fine, really good game. Good game. But just don't be like this guy, man. Like, I get it. You know, they're being sold off and whatnot. Don't just don't do that. Just don't. I just don't like it. It's just such a scummy thing to do, and it just shows you just how uncharacteristic these people really are. ID takes the legend. No way they will gut that. Wonder how ID will take it. We don't know. We don't need everything on you. I agree. We don't need everything on UE. Asha was saying Doom, Wolf, Quake, etc. are still very important, and I think they will be. We don't talk about bleeding. I mean, you have to write the physics engine for the engine, maths engine. Yep. If they really wanted to save ID Tech engineers, they would have licensed out ID Tech to other studios to use for their games and Halo, but be built on the ID Tech instead of Unreal. I think they've just looked at ways that they can cut costs, and if they turn around and say, "Hey, we're going to give the responsibility of maintaining ID Tech to someone else. We don't need you here anymore." But it would be weird taking it from ID Tech and giving it to Machine Games. I don't know. That just looks weird. That just feels weird. Whereas if there's a studio in Machine Games that works on ID Tech, why not get rid of them instead of the ones that work in ID Tech? More people came into the game. But there's also contractors, right? Contractors that they employ for that 18-month period, like I've said, they can easily come in and start working on stuff that's on Unreal Engine immediately. No ifs, no buts, because they are trained on that. Whether you work on Unreal Engine 5 at Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Konami, Capcom, it's the same code. You might have some slight nuances here and there, but it's the same code. It's the same code base. And so it's easier for you to just get started. Whereas if you turn around and tell someone, "Hey, you're going to be working on this code base." "Oh, is it? What is it?" "Id Tech." "Oh, I've never worked on that." That's instantly 3-4 months at least of onboarding with all the tools. And so you've already, from the 18 months that you're paying them, you've already lost, 4 months or 6 months worth of development time while they get fully onboarded. So I can see that having a huge factor to play in there. Unhinged, will I live stream it? I don't know. Maybe if people want, then maybe. But at the moment, I'm playing through Resident Evil 2 Remake over at Twitch, which is very fun. I'm really enjoying it. Good game. But Unhinged is a good game. It's half an hour long. Play it. Also, moving to UE means they have less of an incentive to train an in-house talent and will more than likely. Exactly. That's the whole point, Bags. That is clearly the point. They don't need to. They can just bring people in when they're running short, get them to work on it, and then ship them out. And there's no contracts or salaries or anything. They just paid a certain amount, although it's crazy how much contractors get paid. Resident Evil 2 Remake. I'm going Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4. So what I'm doing over at Twitch right now is playing a long RPG that I enjoy. Then I jump onto a couple palette cleansers that are shorter games. And then I move to another RPG and then onto a couple of palette cleansers. So we recently just finished Trails in the Sky first chapter. And so we started Resident Evil 2 Remake. I tried indie, but it didn't stick. I loved Indiana Jones. That game was so good. God, you scared me. I don't know. I just heard what sounded like the Left 4 Dead witch in the corner there laughing. I'm here for the long haul. I'm waiting to see the long term of what's happening, how Band-Aid ripped off 3200. This is what I said, Big Bad. I'm not sure if you've seen any of my videos or if you watch my content. But I said, it's not about where Xbox is now. What's going to be important is after the 100 days, as we get nearer to that Xbox anniversary where they're going to unveil a bunch of stuff, where Xbox is then. This journey from the start of that 100 days to the end of that 100 days, it's only just, a third of the transitioning process. But the bulk of what they want to do is going to happen within those 3 months. And so seeing where Xbox is now isn't going to give you any form of a, grand picture. Where they end up come October, November is where Xbox, once you see where they land there, then you've got a clearish picture at the very least to see what they are planning with Xbox. And I'm going to stick by that. Hey, man, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's the noises that was coming from that corner over there. She does that all the time to me. She sneaks into the room, sits down, and then starts making these weird noises.
I'm trying to get out of the room.
By the way, can you get me a drink? I'll drink.
If you can get her to stay in here.
Let's see. Luna, come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, it's time for your cameo appearance on camera. Yes, it's time for your cameo appearance on camera. While she goes and gets me the drink, I will keep you distracted. Hello, everyone. This is the beautiful Luna, the boss of me. She's the only one that can have a go at me and still sound cute doing it. Oh. Man, I love this puppy so much. Oh, you're so cute. Okay, stop. You're trying to eat my face. Are you okay now? Do you want to say bye? Do you want to say bye to chat? Chat, if you don't give me a like, Luna here is definitely worth a like. Okay, she wants to get down because she's seen my daughter run like the wind. Fetch. Go get her. She's made of twigs. Man, have you seen the latest PlayStation Plus offering? Jesus, it's terrible. You'd think that they'd actually come out with something good after everything. PlayStation Plus is 10 Game Pass. I mean, it's never going to be comparable. All right, let me just come and get a drink. Man, she was looking at you and she's like, "Can I just put the ice in there?" No. It's cold at least. Where's the vacuum? Have you seen the amount of bugs in here? I'm going to be having a field day off the street.
Don't scare me.
They're everywhere. So where's the vacuum?
I'm not doing it.
You're not doing it. I'm going to do it. I just want the vacuum. They're all going to be obliterated. They're all going to die. Die! Sorry about that, chat. I've got my drink and murdered a bunch of bugs. Hey, there's one way you got to destroy them, right? They come and go. Yes, I'll join you on a drink. Man, it's just too hot tonight. I don't know why. Well, actually, it's not hot because the kids are saying it's really cool and they're actually okay. I don't know. This is a scene today. I'm cleaning with chaos. No! It was the first time I woke up because I had spiders crawling around me. No way. No way. I would be out of that building. Luna, stop it. But anyway, you got this guy. Microsoft is selling off 4 Xbox studios as part of gaming cuts. Double Fine, Compulsion are going independent. Microsoft is selling Ninja Theory and Undead Labs. 1,600 Xbox employees jobs are lost. 4,800 Microsoft. I don't care what Microsoft is losing. Why do I care what Microsoft? Like, why do people care about what the Microsoft side of the business is losing? Why do people care about what Microsoft is losing? Like it should. I don't get it. Very bad. Xbox is cooked. What do you mean they're cooked? Hey, didn't Amazon lay off 50,000 people? Was it last year in January? Since he's looking at Microsoft as a business and not the Xbox gaming side, he's looking at the business. Why was he not talking about the Amazon employees that were laid off? I think it was around 50,000 people that Amazon laid off in one go, right? So why wasn't he talking about them? Man, it's crazy. The fake is all around us. It's crazy. I hate the fake. The just wants to make it sound worse. Look, here's going to be my final opinion on this whole situation. From what Asha said, it sucks. It really sucks. The studios that got sold is a good thing. They weren't shut down, like I said they wouldn't be, and that is good, right? They can still continue making the games. People who were looking forward to the games can still enjoy the games. She is trimming the fat because she has to, as a for the business of Xbox. A 3% margin is nothing, right? And they were losing 64 cents on the dollar for every dollar invested. I don't understand how any investor is still with them. Drastic changes were needed. We knew that layoffs were coming. Everyone knew, and we all kind of expected it to be bad when Asha explained just how bad it was going to be. But if this means that it will allow Xbox to be in a much better position going forward, then she's doing what she was brought in to do. And that is to make Xbox great again, profitable, and become a better platform. And if that's what it takes, it's what it takes. End of, really. I mean, we all saw it coming. It sucks. I get it. No one here is saying they're good, but it does suck. But like I said, it's a necessity that had to happen. But the best thing about it, it's not just the grunts that are getting laid off, it's the management as well. And where you saw that they're basically getting rid of that 14 layers of management down to, 5 layers of management, or sometimes even, they're going to push it to 3. That means a lot of people that are there, that are management, are going. And then they're going to actually add DRIs into the mix, which now means that if a project goes screwy, that person who is the DRI leader is going to be responsible, and all the fingers are going to be pointed at that person. Now they can hold people truly accountable for things going wrong, something that they've not done for years. So this, to me, is a good thing. Probably vital. Do we have a pony alert? I don't think so. But some of these middle managers, a couple of teas will miss. But you know what? Like I said, we'll see where Xbox is in by October. And I think October, November, that's when you're going to see what Xbox is, where they've landed and where they're pushing to. Because they're still going to be restructuring all the way and changes. So we'll see. When something goes wrong at PlayStation, it was Jim Ryan. But if Xbox does something bad, nobody knew who to blame. That's the point. There was never accountability. Now there is. So I feel like all this pointing to a dockable PS6 handheld in the future. If that's true, what happens to our current PS4 5 discs? Will they sell an overtly expensive optical drive? Will you buy one? Important notice from January 2028, newly released games on PlayStation will be available for purchase on the PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. Discs for games released before January 28 can continue to be played on this console. Now, there's also this commotion going around with PlayStation, if you've not heard about it, because apparently it went completely under the radar, and almost no one is really talking about it. Because, I don't know. But apparently PlayStation has announced that they're going discless. Did any of you actually hear about this? What's happening right now? It seems like a great house cleaning going on. Exactly. That's exactly what they're doing. Some of the stuff I think was a little harsh, like the ZeniMax online team being like completely gutted. I think that's a bit harsh, considering those games probably still had a future. But it is just fixing it. But it seems like the studio, the factory where these games are built, has now retooled its stuff for 90% micro lens, and the 10% that's remaining there in that factory is just for games that are released before 2028 to be reprinted. There is no mass scaling. The factory is done. Now, there are other factories globally around that can also take on that responsibility if Sony wants to license it out. I just don't see them doing that. Man, can you imagine how much my Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth are going to be worth? I've got Naoki Hamaguchi signatures on both of them, personally done by himself when I met him at Square Enix. Crazy how. Hey, Rachie, listen, right? Listen, right? I have hair. It's beautiful hair. You can see the hair. I am not bald. Let's get that straight from the get go. But there's been a lot of. Every time I'm just going to say lean and agile. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing, right? Cutting the fat and rely. I mean, what that actually means, Big Mad, is getting rid of the excess that's not needed and leaning into other studios. Nah, this is all DLSS 5, man. We don't deal with that cheap FSR stuff. Millions. And this is why I said, kudos to this guy, right? I want to clarify that Sony destroying game discs will lead to millions of job losses. That's why I can't focus on this. And good on him for that. Oh, there was some other Xbox stuff that I wanted to cover. Let me see if I can put them. I can quickly go over those as well before we move on to the PlayStation stuff. No, not interested in that one. Is that it? Yes, there we go. Okay. Let's quickly go over the last few Xbox things that I had. Bethesda boss Jill Braff, I think I pronounced that correctly, says the company must focus on our strongest franchises as Xbox layoffs hit hard. To be successful in the future, we need to change course, Braff continued. We must strengthen our business, return to sustainable growth, and ensure we can continue investing in our franchises and our players. I know that doesn't make a day like today any easier. To best position Bethesda for future growth, we are shifting from a planning model primarily centered on what's next for each independent studio to one that focuses on our strongest franchises and determining the content roadmap that best serves our players and Bethesda as a whole. From there, we'll align the right talent, technology, and resources across the organization to deliver on those priorities. So, what this actually means is previously, they'll be like, hey, Machine Games, what do you want to make? What are you making? Oh, well, we're looking at this and maybe Indiana Jones and maybe Bob the Builder and stuff like this. And that's gone. Now they're going to be like, right, Machine Games, id Software, and all of them. Here are the projects you're working on. These are best suited for your talents. Go make the game. They don't have the decision to choose the game that they want. They're going to be told what to make. And then that responsibility ultimately is now on the person who's given them those projects. They need to make sure those projects are hitting. And if they're not, they need to find out why. Because now they are the ones making that decision. This is what I was talking about, accountability. Make Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive. That would be kind of funny. I think there's a good chance for it. So that's a good thing, right? To me, that's a good thing. That's showing clear accountability. Of course, while Xbox is talking about that no games have been cancelled, Halo Future in jeopardy as upcoming game cancelled. And they're talking about Project Ika, which was a game mode, not a game. But apparently, the checks have cleared, boys, from PlayStation. The full-on Polygon, I must protect Sony, has come into effect. That's all right, Paul. Welcome back. A 20 billion loss isn't some minor loss. It's pocket change, right? Pixel, I agree. If you have the right DLSS 5 version, they absolutely can, Raichi. Don't you have a PS5 Pro? I do. What's that got to do with anything, Banisher? I'll have you know, I've paid for my PS5 Pro as well. I thought his hair was DLSS 5 damn straight. How much longer is left on the 10-year COD deal? About 7 years. 2033 is when it's up. $20.33. But yeah, the rent clearly cleared with this one. It did. It did. I did like this though. This was quite funny. So Blue over here is basically posting these 4 studios. That one hasn't closed. That one made 2 shit games back to back. That was a freaking disaster. I don't even know what happened to Lionhead. I don't even remember them. Wasn't they the ones that were making that Mimo Boy thing before? I know they're behind Fable, but then they tried to do that weird game with Connect and it didn't work and then they disappeared, right? It's not a Halo game. It's Project Eker. And Project Eker has been cancelled. Developers of Project Milo, that's it. The developers have confirmed that the game is no longer in development. It's been shelved because Campaign Evolved was a development nightmare and they had to pull everyone off all other incubation projects to go and save Halo Campaign Evolved because the guy running the show had no goddamn clue what the hell he was doing. Does that sound familiar with Initiative and Halo Studios? Does that about sum those studios up? Man, how they still have jobs is beyond me. They should just get rid of them all. You can't mismanage it this many times and still expect to keep the same job. No other business out there would keep those people employed. Right? But apparently it basically got pulled back in order to save their ass because there's no way they would have met the deadline without all hands on deck. Because apparently it was a development nightmare to finish the game. So that's why Project Eker has disappeared. Due to mismanagement, yet again. But the reason why this one is funny is because Rhino, who is a PlayStation fanboy, has said, crazy how Sony shut down Bluepoint and others without a second thought. While Microsoft allowed Ninja Theory and others to go independent or be bought and their games funded by another entity, goes to show how little Sony cares for any form of creativity from Jim Ryan's era and onwards. Never thought I'd say that, but what a disgrace. Now, this guy is a PlayStation fanboy, and he's calling Sony out. And then you have this PlayStation fanboy saying, but what about Xbox? So you got 2 PlayStation fans fighting, going at each other. And they still bring Xbox into it. Like, how is that even, like, how does that even make any sense? Oh, come on, man. Come on. This just isn't normal. This isn't normal, man. What you can afford and what you can waste eventually meet always consequences. Yep. Xbox guy since 07. Never played Halo. This Halo 1 remake is dumb as fuck. Halo's good. I think the original plan was Microsoft was going third party. And then they looked at that, and that's why Halo was announced for PlayStation, because they wanted a new audience. And then they looked at the numbers and said, right, outside of Forza Horizon and maybe Sea of Thieves, nothing else sold. We kind of wasted our money. And in doing so, we kind of destroyed our brand. We destroyed our identity. We destroyed what makes Xbox Xbox. Yeah, we're going to have to now backroll that. Sony stepped in and said, no, we're not going to let you do that. We want you to suffer humiliation by making sure you release Halo on PlayStation. And so Microsoft said, fine, but we're not letting you release the trailer on State of Play. And then Sony got even more annoyed. So that's kind of how that timeline played out. I mean, that's the most easiest way to go, Vince. But apparently John has something cool to say, which is, let's see.
Right. So, but then there's things like the PC, and I see like, well, John, why are people mad about this, but not the PC? And this gets into the other side of this, and this comes down to.
And now you're about to find out why PC is the master race.
Control and ownership over the platforms. The PC is an open platform, right? Steam exists. It does have DRM. But, and I hate to say, there's legal and illegal ways around this. Essentially, you have this.
Oh, I hate to say this, but there are legal and illegal ways around this. Everyone checking their stuff right now.
Knowledge. They cannot take away the content from you. You will, once it's there, you have it, right?
So even if they decided to take it away from you on Steam, you can still have it, and there's nothing they can do about it. Probably from the illegal way, but you can still have it.
And beyond that, Valve does, their system is set up in a way where the PC is like a continuous platform that continues to exist, obviously. Games that you may have purchased digitally back in.
Hey, I am handsome. He doesn't just make me look handsome, he makes me look like a superstar. No offense, John. You're a cool guy.
2004, they're still in your list along with all the new stuff. It feels like everything is like front and center, like you actually have this library. And when you couple that with the idea that you won't necessarily lose this, if Steam closes, you can still get these games on your PC one way or the other.
Did Digital Foundry wait for the ponies' feedback first before stating their opinion? No. The retraction will probably come later, where they never really considered it. This was a knee-jerk reaction, and they should have given it more thought before saying what they said.
Plus, there's multiple marketplaces. GOG is a great one. They sell DRM-free games. Not every game, but they do sell a lot of games. You can get them. That's awesome, right? So because of that, and the fact that, frankly, with the physical media, I love big box PC games, but physical media and PC, it was never like a console, right? It never got to that point. It was always a much more fiddly process, completely non-standard. And hell, if you wanted to, you could still do it today. I mean, I do have some new modern games that are physical games on the PC. It's possible, right? The option is there. But on a console, it's a closed system. And they're not always cracked, certainly not quickly. They can take things away from you. They can shut down accounts. Services can go offline. You can lose access to it. They can essentially...
Listen, right? I am bold. There is no boldness here. You need to take that back.
Close your account with no recourse. Prices are higher. And modern game systems have largely become just PCs anyway. Like...
Banisher, what he's saying here is, if you have a if if Valve or anyone else out there tries to take a paid purchase off you, you can go to one of those illegal websites and download your game. You've paid for it, go do it. Look, Sony just took away 551 movies away from paying customers for their movies. They can now go and just download those games through the dark web and get it. And I'm perfectly okay with it. I don't like piracy, but in a situation like that where you've paid for the product, they should not have the right to take it away from you. And if they do, you have other means and ways of making sure you personally can correct that situation. You don't have to rely on anyone else. You could just correct it. If you care about achievements, that may be a problem. But other than that, there's nothing else there to stand in your way. With PlayStation doing it now, it's a much bigger problem because their games are only on PS5. And if they take their games away, well, how else are you going to get them? See, with Xbox, their games are available day one on PC. So if they try to do any shit like that and take it away from you, just like the Valve game, the Steam games and anyone else, you can do the same thing and you can get those games and they will work. It's really that simple. But you can't do that with PlayStation because it's not a cracked system. How are you confusing me with these guys? Okay, look, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the glasses off. It means now that I can't read chat. Now there should be no reason to confuse. Shit, I can't read chat. Even if you are paid for just the license and not a game, the company need to state how long the duration. Look, what people need to be fighting for now isn't this, because this physical thing from Sony, it doesn't look like they're going to back away from it, right? It doesn't look like they're going to back away from it. What they need to do is lobby like the FTC, the CMA, the EU regulators to relook at digital rights, to get people better digital rights, where if you pay for a product, they shouldn't have the right to take that license away from you. If you're not violating any terms and conditions, that license should stay with you indefinitely. Right? That's what they should be trying to change, the digital rights. But it's not happening. That's not what they're focusing on. Whether people like it or not, this is likely going to stay. The thing is, if Sony backs down from this, right? This will be the second or third one that they've backed out of. Now, the Helldivers 2 one, that made sense, right? Backing away from Helldivers 2, they had a legal problem in their hands that Arrowhead created, right? But it still looked bad on Sony because it looks like they basically bent the knee to peer pressure from the PC crowd. But they had no legal basis to stand on. Well, they kind of did, and it may have held up in court. But do you really want that much of a bad PR on your back? So Sony chose to backtrack. And then there was something else they did that I can't quite remember. There was two. And they backtracked from that as well due to peer pressure. If they backtrack from this again, then all this is going to tell the people is that Sony's the number one company to backtrack from everything. So it's a difficult position for Sony as well. But I also think that what Sony has done here has been in the works for over 6 months. This has been something they've been planning. It's well underway, and I just don't see them changing it. Includes digital rights in his next go round. He absolutely should, because digital rights is useless at the moment. You don't have any. So I really think that that's something that they need to do. Current government ain't going to do anything. I mean, we don't even have a government over here at the moment, so you're probably right. But that's what they need to do. Because if you can get those digital rights so they can't take those away from you. Paid purchases, they can't just remove it. Then you're in a much better place. And this is why the PC scene isn't the same. I know Steam went full digital and all this and all that, but if you can't if they take your game away from you, you can just go and get it and play it. If a game is delisted, there are ways for you to go and get it, right? It's there for you to always go and play. If a game is delisted on console, it's gone. If they take that game away from you right now, you've got no rights. And that is why people are complaining about Sony, because Sony just isn't a company that can be trusted. But do you know what I am going to say? All these people, the media, the fanboys, my 100 million consoles will protect me, right? It's going to protect me, right? My console sold is going to protect me. The way these guys bigged up PlayStation and bent the knee to everything that they wanted. You had Greg Miller wanting Xbox hardware to disappear so Sony could have, the true monopoly. And now these same people are crying about Sony abusing their power. They're crying that Sony is doing what, Sony does. Hey, it's up, Force. Like, the point I'm saying is no company should be given the power that, of complete control. Not Microsoft, not Nintendo, not Sony. Competition is good. Competition is what keeps things fair and good for us as consumers. But with the way the media has handled Xbox, the way that everyone has wanted Xbox to be gone, non-existent, Sony just basically came over and said, here's a little taste of what it will look like if you give me full power. Now give me more of it because I want more. And that's why I say, in a certain way, good. Is it bad for PlayStation gamers? Absolutely. They've got no security whatsoever. If Microsoft today takes a game from me, I'll just go get it from a place where I know I can get it from. I will have my game. PlayStation can't say that. Now, if they kept their games on PC, they could, but they won't. And so they wanted Sony to be this aggressive force, and they nurtured Sony to be this aggressive force. Well, you get what you ask for, buddy. Do you think Sony 3 years ago would have had the balls to do this? Digital wigs are the way to go, man. The only thing I'll add is that it's also bad that Phil and Microsoft basically handed over the gen to Sony. Yeah, they did. But they banked on the whole Game Pass and multi-platform, and it didn't work. They banked on you don't need a console to play Xbox. Just get a Fire Stick. That worked out really well for them, didn't it? Competition is good if the consumer is buying games, but if the consumer is not spending money on games, the console have to go. Well, yeah, but there's enough people that are buying games. You see, people look at social media and these, tweets and stuff, and they're like, oh, look, everyone is canceling their PlayStation Plus subscription. No. Maybe 1% is canceling their PlayStation Plus subscription. The other 99% are barely on Twitter. They don't care about none of this stuff. So they're just going to go, oh, the game isn't available here. Fine, I'll just buy it on digital. I'm okay with that. And considering a large portion of people are buying digital anyway, they won't even care. This is an Xbox? Yeah, that was just stupid. I did troll with it for a little while because it was pissing them off. I was rage baiting them. But it was a dumb campaign, and I've said that multiple times. I do hope Sharma works on increasing consumer buying. It's a hard tightrope to walk with Game Pass, though. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as Game Pass exists, it's going to be a problem. They need to find a way to differentiate between Game Pass and Thing. Even if it means, like, I don't know, releasing the games a week late or something. I don't know. But they need to do something because they need consumer spending to increase. But I'm not a Game Pass. I like Game Pass, so I want it to stay. But I also understand that it's going to change. This guy, on the other hand, he decided that the layoffs at Xbox are way more important than losing your physical rights to games on PlayStation. And so this is what he had to say.
I see it as them trying to turn the consumer base and opinion of Xbox and the online space away from them. They should. The company sucks. They lie. They're dishonest.
What did Microsoft lie about? Like in the situation, what did they lie about?
They should try to tell the consumer, hey, look at what this company's doing. They should. Xbox and Microsoft suck at gaming. They suck at it.
So the fact that they turned around and saved the 4 studios is a bad thing? So Microsoft should have done what Sony did with Bluepoint? Is that what we're cheering for now?
2 generations of failure
Have a good
and
night, Paul.
mediocrity and destroying studios and property. I'm right here on Main Street saying it. I want consumers to know how much this company sucks. I want consumers to know how much this company lies. I'm saying it. Both barrels loaded, 10 toes down, full chest. They suck. And I want people to know they suck. You have a problem with me?
Okay, you're not going to come.
I think consumers should turn away from them and stop supporting them. Trust is earned.
And so what trust has Sony gained? They've basically been taking stuff away from PlayStation fans for years now. What have they actually gained? Like, what have they actually gained? Probably. Like, I don't understand. What has Sony given them over the last few years that makes them want to trust Sony? Hell, Sony has turned around and just said, we're moving into the hardware business in terms of monitors and speakers and other stuff that will basically bring revenue because they don't believe that the console division anymore can sustain Sony. Do you know what, Maxine? Should I tell you what? 2K knew. Sorry, not 2K, Rockstar. Rockstar knew. That is why they announced it as all digital. They knew. If I have any of the companies that didn't know, they knew. I genuinely believe that Rockstar knew. Like, it's crazy. Assuming a repeat of past Sony event back when they started nixing all of the hardware divisions. I reckon Rockstar knew, and that's why they went that way.
They have been misleading people this entire generation.
Has anyone actually felt misled about Xbox this generation? I mean, we've all seen the dumb decisions that they've made, some of them being absolutely moronically stupid, but you always kind of saw where they were, what they were doing. The only thing I felt misled was when they said, hey, all your games are going to be 4K 60 FPS. Mate, I would have taken 2K 60 FPS. Jason Ronald said all your games would be running at 60 FPS. And I was misled with that one.
With obfuscation and astroturfing and nonsense and doublespeak, and you'll be like, yeah, but an article that tries to turn people against Xbox, I really take issue with that. Where is the accountability for what the company's been doing this entire time?
So what accountability has PlayStation had? All they're saying is anything that Jim Ryan actually worked on is bad, and they're blaming everything on Jim Ryan. Everything is being blamed on Jim Ryan. So where's the accountability for that? Like, seriously, where's the accountability for that? Why isn't Herman Hulst taking any responsibility? I mean, there is now at Xbox, well and truly, there was really no accountability. He's not wrong in that respect. People were just blaming the staff, and the staff were getting laid off. And the people that should have been laid off were chirping away and clicking their feet like it was Wizard of Oz and skipping off the yellow brick road. But now they are fully accountable, and Asha Sharma is taking no shit. And she's made it perfectly clear that you are responsible for this, and if it goes bad, it's your neck on the line. And that's great. That is great, because now that man or woman that's going to be in charge, they have to doubly make sure that shit is done correctly because it's their neck on the line. Right? That's accountability. But what is Herman Hulst doing? Oh, my Star Wars project. Dead in like 1 week. 400 million down the drain. Oh, I've cancelled 13 games. And everyone's cheering that on. Where's the accountability? They haven't recovered from any of this. And now they killed Destiny, probably one of the biggest IPs out there. And they double down and triple down on Marathon, which last I checked had 3,000 people playing. Probably can't even get into a match anymore. Where's the accountability there? Guy's just an idiot, man. But people have been waiting for Sony to come out and say something because, well, they want to hear what Sony has to say, because Sony went into hiding for about 6 days, which is pretty much the same time that PlayStation fanboys went into hiding. They wouldn't come out, say anything until the Xbox news came out. And Sony has finally come out and made a statement. Switch out lever gates with ease on the Flex Strike wireless Fire Stick. Give me more money. I'm sorry. But that's balls of steel, man. The media crypto side was popular. Absolutely, Garden. Absolutely. I stopped subbing to IGN, GameSpot, Digit. Yeah, I just don't. The only time I see anything that's going on from those publications is what I see on X. I don't even go to them. It's all far too one-sided. It's like, hey guys, we've heard the feedback. We understand. And so in order for us to turn around and show you how sorry we actually are, and we truly are sorry about the decision that we've made, but we want to make it up to you, and we think we've found a solution that can meet in the middle that works best for you and me. And as CEO of PlayStation, I am Herman Hulst. This is my suggestion to you. Give me more money. What a great suggestion. You know, you just no. What's happening is someone from Sony went in and said, "Oh, what the hell? Sorry, chat. I need to get this. This is about my mum." Sorry about the chat. My mum was out of surgery. It was okay. She's in recovery. Uh, they didn't find what they were looking for. Apparently, it might have dissolved and broke away, but it looks like they're going to have to perform another 2 surgeries to get the other 2 pieces. But at least it's heading in the right direction. So I do apologize for that I needed to take that phone call. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, so this is kind of look, in order to soften the blow as well. Thank you for all the good wishes, guys. They've decided that they're going to give you the best PlayStation Plus month there has ever been. This is the best. I just done. I don't expect GTA 6 to be 60 frames. I expect GTA 6 to be on my console on the 90. Hey, look, they just want to give back to the community. In case you don't have the physical versions of these, now you can have the digital versions of these. I'll take scraps if I'm hungry enough. But you know, one person has actually impressed me, right? One person. And I'm going to bring them up and check out his latest video because he did impress me. I don't think he will stay the course, right? I don't think he will stay the course. That I don't believe. But, and I really, like, I hope it isn't just bait from him, right? I kind of hope that he's true to his word, and it's MBG. I hope this isn't all performative. And so I'm going to play his video because it's titled PlayStation Finally Responds, and they said, F you, buy our new product. He's pretty angry about this. But honestly, outside of him, I'm not really seeing any other PlayStation fanboy or podcast or anything talking shit. It's for clicks guaranteed. I mean, you guys know me, right? If Xbox does bad, I am one of the first to call them out, and I will shit on them like there's no tomorrow. I'll keep it real, and I always will. And I may say stuff like Game Pass is changing and all of this, which you guys generally don't want to hear, but I'm going to give you my opinion of where I see things going. And sometimes it'll be great. A lot of times it'll be good news. Sometimes it just won't be. But I will always keep it real with you guys, 100. And, you know, that's never going to change. And I kind of see that with him right now, but I really hope it's not just for clicks. Because, man, this video in 7 hours has got 55,000 views. That's crazy. Man, I would do backflips if I got 10,000 views in a video. All right, so let's hear it out.
Well, guys, Sony finally, after days and days of silence, responded to the fans. That's right. They finally decided, you know what? Enough's enough. We made them wait long enough. We need to post something on our account. We need to respond in some way. We need to do something. And what you are looking at in front of you is what Sony decided was the next best thing to do. That's right. After announcing they're done producing physical disc-based PlayStation games starting January 2028, after an entire week of burning the last ounce of goodwill they had with their fans that they've been building up since the mid to end PlayStation 3 days, they decided that this was the best thing to announce, essentially saying,
so, you know, everyone has been eagerly awaiting for PlayStation to come up with a response. And the first thing they turn around and say is, give me money. Man, I should just make a video and start using Krabs from Krabs' meme. I like money. Give me money.
oh, what's that? You guys have been begging for a response for 6 days now for us to come out and reverse.
Oh, God, then come on. I'm going to use that. I'm totally going to use that in my video later today that I'm going to do after stream. I am totally going to use that.
This decision, or at the very least explain something, to say something, to acknowledge any of this. No, fuck you, buy our new product. That's what Sony just said to you, to me, to every PlayStation gamer that exists. That's exactly what they said to you. Buy our new fight stick. We do not care. We don't give a flying fuck about anything that any.
I mean, to be fair, Tokon is coming to PlayStation and PC, which also requires a PSN access in order to play it on PC. and is blocked from 132 countries. So they kind of want people to buy this stick because 132 countries have already been ruled out.
Of you guys have said, you know why? And I'll tell you why. This is exactly why Sony has this attitude. They're looking at every single PlayStation fan right now. They're looking down at you and they're saying, what are you going to do? You're going to leave? Where are you going to go? You're going to go to PC? You're going to go to Xbox? Really? This is exactly the attitude Sony has right now.
100%. 100%. Right? Where are you going to go? And Sony knows that people are not going to go anywhere. I saw Puerto Rock turn around and say that if they're going to go all digital, people are going to look and see which digital platform offers them the best, service. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought exclusives were what did, makes you buy a console. Which platform you go to. Hasn't that always been the motto? Hasn't that always been the rule for the PlayStation fans? I got Wolverine exclusive. You don't have it, so I'm buying a PlayStation for Wolverine. Hasn't that always been what they're saying is? Exclusives are what sells the PS5, and that's why PS5 has so many sales? And so now exclusives don't even matter based on that response? Like, when the hell did that come in? Man, that attitude changed quick. That attitude changed quicker than a hooker takes her knickers off.
And I am truly pissed off at seeing this because the audacity, the absolute audacity that this company has after just an entire week of getting dragged after their post becoming one of the most...
I'm sorry, that's Luna playing with a squeaky toy. I don't want to disturb her. I'm sorry, chat. If it's annoying you too much, let me know. But it is Luna playing with a little squeaky toy.
Most viewed posts in the history of X and Twitter, for gaming posts. It's like they just don't care. They really, truly, genuinely don't care. The executives are laughing at you. They're laughing at me. They're laughing at all of us because they are sitting back, lighting their cigars, drinking their whiskey, drinking their bourbon, whatever, and they're all laughing. They're having a good old time counting their money, looking at their spreadsheets, looking at just how profitable the next generation PlayStation is going to be because they made this decision. And to all those who oppose, to all those fans who have been loyal and supporting them for over 30 years, to all those who've been buying hundreds, possibly thousands of physical PlayStation video games over the years, Sony is looking at you dead in the face and saying, we don't care, fuck you, buy our new product.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That's literally what they're saying. And do you know why they're saying it? Because you guys gave them that arrogance to say it. That's the reason. You guys are the ones that made them this arrogant. You guys and the media and whatever you want to add on top of it are the reason they are this arrogant. None of you kept them in checks on. A studio gets closed down? Oh, it's for the best of Sony. Layoffs happen? Yeah, Sony kind of needed to get rid of those people. Games get cancelled? Oh, this is exactly what we wanted from Sony. Yes. You let them get away with everything. Everything. And so, right on, are they going to turn around and start milking you guys for everything you've got, fully well knowing that you ain't going anywhere? You're not going to throw away your PlayStation catalog that you've had from the PS4 to the PS5. You're not doing that when the PS6 comes out. Like a good little soldier, you're going to buy the PS6 because you're not throwing away all those games. You're just not going to do it. You guys are the ones that made them do this. And people need to understand that. They didn't directly tell them that we want games digital, but the fact that they can come out with something as outrageous as this after, let's face it, PlayStation accounts are getting hacked every other week. That's your whole digital library gone, and they're expecting people to accept that? Of course they are, because you guys have made it clear. I mean, you had Colin Moriarty, who could have actually maybe pushed some stuff through, maybe because he says he knows a lot of people at Sony. Once he got his shit back, he didn't give a crap after that. He was done. He's moved on. He's looking out for himself. All that talk about, oh, I spoke with people and I'm getting things pushed through. None of that is happening because you guys don't care. You guys do whatever Sony wants you to do. You drink the Kool-Aid, you toe the company line, and now you're seeing what a powerful Sony, who has complete control, looks like. And you guys made it happen, so I'm sorry, I just have zero sympathy for you. I think this is really bad what Sony is doing, but I have zero sympathy for you. And before anyone says, but Xbox is digital anyway. Yeah, but if they try to do anything stupid, like I said earlier in the stream, I have ways to get my games. I'm not restricted to one machine. By Sony pulling out from PC. And the timing of that is crazy, right? They pull out from PC, so they know that you can't go to PC anymore. They've pigeonholed you into one platform. And they're telling you, you ain't got nowhere to go, bitch. You're going to stay right here and you're going to take it. And you're going to take it as much as I want you to. Because where else are you going to go? You can't go anywhere else to buy these games. You can only get them here. And I ain't giving you any outlet to go and play these other games. You can only come here. PCs today can barely handle PS3 emulation. They've got a long way to go for PS4 emulation. And PS5 emulation is out the window. So I get the crying, but when your community is part of the problem of why this exists, you made it happen.
Because you can't do anything about it. You're not going to leave. You would never leave. This has me fuming right now. Like I was kind of ready for this outcome to a degree. I'm like, it's possible that Sony really will just move forward and truly not give a shit. But to see it in this way, this is your next post, a fight stick, a fucking fight stick. Get fucked, Sony.
I mean, you're going to get Tokon, right? You've been, I don't know if you was cheering on. I know Jay Barry was. So at least Jay Barry is going to get the fight stick. He's going to support Sony.
Get absolutely fucked. Like, I am done. This is worse than when I left Xbox years ago, man. This is worse because at least with that, it was just kind of pathetic. You know, where it's like we were sitting there for years kind of telling Phil Spencer and the Xbox executives at that time, like, you guys got to figure this out. You need to make better games. Your competition is just, they're annihilating you. And
he is not about to turn this on Xbox. Take it easy, Steve. Have a good night, dude. Hope you're feeling better, man. He is not about to turn this on Xbox, is he? He is not about to turn this on Xbox because I think that's where this is going.
You're not even remotely keeping up. You're falling further and further behind. And it just got to a point where it's like, I want to go, I want to go play other games somewhere else. I'm not waiting around for this. This is even worse because this is just a straight up middle finger right to your face from the company. Now, look, is it possible?
Okay, so he didn't go there. He didn't go there. I'm good with that. I thought he was actually going to go there. I was like, what the hell, man? If he actually went there. But what he's saying there is, with Xbox, if you're not happy with the way Xbox is doing things, their games are available on PC. You can go to PC. We're happy to take the 70% of the revenue. As long as you still buy our games, we don't care. And that has generally been how Xbox's mindset is. Or if you're buying it from the Xbox store, they get 100% of the revenue.
That this is just an obligatory post that they have to put out, and they're still planning on addressing the elephant in the room, and they're still planning on possibly reversing course. Sure, but you know what? As of right now, I don't see it that way. As of right now, after waiting this long, like, come on, how long does it really take Sony to just put out a statement, to get an apology in order or something, or just an announcement that they're going to reconsider or reverse? How long does that take? It takes over a week? I don't think so. I don't think so. They know exactly what they're doing here, and they do not care. This is why when I say I'm not buying the PlayStation 6, I'm not giving Sony another dime. This is why, because they view you as the customer as the dirt beneath their shoe.
He is really, really, really pissed, isn't he? But my guy is really, really not happy. Like, he is not happy. But you know what? He has every right not to be happy, because this decision is kind of horrible for them, because they don't have the luxuries that Xbox gamers or PC gamers have. Xbox gamers, because they just go to PC and they'll be happy there, right? Sure, you're not going to have the whole thing, but the way that Microsoft is working with the Xbox app and the way achievements work and everything works, you boot the game up, it's like you're playing on a console, man. There's no difference. You're just playing it with better graphics and frame rate. It's, PC is the Xbox Series X Pro, right? But they don't have that luxury. If their games were released on PC, they would have that luxury. But they fought tooth and nail to make sure they lost that luxury. And Sony was like, do you know what? We could lose a bit of money here and capitalize it over there. Right? And that's what happened. That is what happened.
Okay? They don't give a shit about you. They only see you as a dollar sign. They only see.
Chat, how many times have I said these corporations are not your friends? How many times have I said that? And they were like, oh, but they care about us. Oh, no. They care about you as long as you're paying money. And now that the ecosystems have actually been created between PlayStation and Xbox and people are invested in their ecosystem, you're not leaving. The good thing with Xbox, though, is that they have an outlet. They're not technically leaving because you can have PC Game Pass. So you're not technically leaving, but you might not need the console anymore. But you're still an Xbox gamer as far as Microsoft is concerned, because you're going to buy the Elder Scrolls 6. You're going to buy this and buy that. They know you are.
You as a number on their spreadsheets. They don't care. You think they care about previous executives who had to learn the hard way during the beginning of the PS3 generation and fight tooth and nail to win fans back, to kind of overthrow Xbox at that time and really just listen to the gamer and listen to the hardcore PlayStation fan and speak to them and actually show just an ounce of care? Do you think that the current executive leadership at Sony PlayStation cares about that? I'm going to tell you right now, this post says very clearly, very plainly, nope.
I mean, let's face it. Did the Sony execs back when Sony had the PS3 care? I mean, they turned around and said, get a second job. The PS3 is worth it. That's what Kaz Hirai said. Get a second job. The PS3 is worth it. People were complaining that they can't afford to buy the console because they got to put food on the table. And his response was, get a second job. You really think they cared back then as well? Xbox's lead during the 360 era was for one reason and one reason only. It launched early. It had better graphics. People loved it. And then, I say two reasons. Peter Moore went through killer third-party exclusivity deals. He was smashing it. He was aggressive as fuck, right? Getting those exclusivity deals on Xbox 360. But once the PlayStation 3 launched and then they got it cheaper, it changed things.
We don't care. This is why I've been trying to fight this.
Hey, I just bought a 32 gigabyte RAM memory stick. It's going to arrive and it's going to pair up with my beautiful RAM stick I've got here. And I'm going to have 64 gigs of memory in my PC. Ooh, I feel rich already. Don't we feel rich, my little baby? Mwah, mwah. Oh, God.
Battle to let all of these dumbass PlayStation fanboys know. Like, you want to keep fighting against other PlayStation players and other gamers who are trying to fight to save physical games right now. You are the reason. You are the reason Sony is saying this right now and doesn't give a fuck. You're the reason. Because Sony looks.
Look, Garden, I found the first game on PC that is recommended 64 gigabytes. I had to do it, man. And it's a game I actually am interested in. But more importantly, I was running out of 32 gigs of memory when I was using my video editing tools. And so it actually crashed and corrupted my whole Adobe Premiere file. I luckily recovered by saving a new one, but it ran out of memory while it was saving. So I don't want to be in that situation again. So for me, it's mainly due to content creation.
At that and they're like, look, we know you're going to stay.
It's a game called Cinder City. It looks really good, by the way. At the moment, that's its recommended specs, but it looks really damn good, and I'm really excited for it.
We know you're not going anywhere or doing anything. You're powerless. You are completely powerless. This is this is ridiculous. Like, unless the next post from Sony is them announcing, we're sorry, we're reversing this, I'm fucking done. Like, this has pissed me off, man. I literally cannot believe what I'm seeing right now. All the things that people have been saying for years about Sony PlayStation, they're right. They're completely right.
No way. No way. Thank you for validating me. I appreciate it. You are welcome, MBG. You are welcome. Have a good one, Pixel. Yo, folks, if you're new to this channel, do consider dropping a sub. It really helps the channel grow, and it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And hey, maybe you'll enjoy my content as well if you're new around here. But if you are enjoying the shows every Tuesday and Thursday and, don't want to be ripped off by Sony, this is a good place to be. Just saying. You can also check me out over at Twitch. We're playing Resident Evil at the moment, Resident Evil 2. Twitch.tv/chaoslounge_. Link in the description below. Drop me a follow there. Help me get to 50 follows. I appreciate it.
Didn't want to believe it. I thought, okay, you know what? They're in the lead. They're on top, so they're going to try to take advantage of that a little bit. They're going to try to,
They did take advantage of it. They basically told you, thank you for putting us into this powerful position. Now we don't care about anything because the path is ours. We are truly gods among men. We can do what we like, and we're going to prove to you.
Boost their numbers where they can. They're going to try to flex a little bit, whatever. They're going to make some big mistakes. Hopefully they're going to learn from those mistakes. But I was always asked the question, like, do you think they're going to get arrogant again and make really stupid decisions? Really,
I'm playing it through Xbox PC Game Pass. My Series X keeps flickering. The video keeps flickering when I plug it into my OBS. I don't know why. I thought I fixed it, and I was so happy. I even went on my Discord and said I fixed it. But the video just keeps cutting in and out, and it's really annoying. So I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's not the cables. It's not the box. I've replaced that as well. I don't think it's the capture card because the PS5 stays on perfectly fine. So I'm starting to think it's either a setting inside Xbox or there's something wrong with the output. It doesn't do it on my TV though. It only does it as it goes through the pass-through into my thing, PC. Maybe I should try removing the box pass-through and going straight to the PC that way. Maybe that'll work. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
They really going to cross that line again like they did at the beginning of the PS3 era? And I thought to myself, there's no way.
No, it happens with every game. Indie game, retail game. I've tried it with Forza Horizon, tried it with Abyss Luna. It doesn't matter. It just keeps doing it.
They already lived through that. They already survived that. Like they know what happens if they do that. Surely they won't do it again. But then people would point out, well, you know, they don't really have any competition right now. You know, everybody who's on PC is on PC. Anybody who's still sticking with PlayStation, you know, they're unlikely to leave, which is exactly what Sony's banking on. Sony's absolutely banking on you and all current PlayStation players. Oh, they're going to eat up the PlayStation 6. They're going to eat it up. They're going to eat up GTA 6. They're going to eat up Wolverine. They're going to eat up everything. We're going to be able to just walk right by. We're going to be able to just do this and ignore every outcry
No, HDR's always disabled.
that we get, as you can clearly see. As you can clearly see with this. And, you know, I thought to myself, like, no, man, come on. There's limits here. There's no way they're that stupid. There's no way they're that arrogant.
They are, because you guys made them that arrogant. They're not stupid. They know what they can get away with. And they know that all they need to do is sprinkle an Uncharted in front of you, a Telu 3, a God of War, and that's it. Everything else doesn't matter. Your exclusives are everything.
But the hubris, it's there. And the answer is no, they're going to do it again. Except the difference is there's no one to keep them in line. And this is where I want to end this video, and we're going to see where this goes. I think the next thing we're going to do, or at least I'm going to do, I mean, everybody out here can do what they want, is, you know, Asha Sharma's the new Xbox CEO, and they have a whole world of trouble that they're in right now, as you can see with her last post. And we covered that in the previous video. But, you know, one thing that she seemingly has been very focused on, to a degree that some people find questionable, which I too also question, but it's undeniable, communicating with the fans, trying to listen to the fans. And, you know, I think, I have to wonder if Asha Sharma, because she's new to gaming, that's important to understand. I don't know that she knows what went down back in 2013 between Xbox and PlayStation, where Xbox tried to do the whole DRM thing and going digital and all that stuff.
Man, that was a bad time for Xbox. That really, really was a bad time for Xbox. They screwed up with that Xbox One thing. And that's really what lost them the generation. They backtracked, obviously, but it was too little too late. Right? It was too little too late. But that's what really lost them that generation. They got stomped. On the back of a successful 360, all they had to do was just the same and more. You know, don't fix what's not broken. But they had to try and fix what wasn't broken. And they tried to be smart. And their arrogance from the 360 era cost them these last two generations. And this is why they've pivoted. But make no mistake, Microsoft right now, regardless of what situation they're in, is in a much better position going forward than Sony is. Because if the Helix is going to be this hybrid machine, regardless of what happens to the console portion, Microsoft already has the fallback with the PC side of gaming. And they can then invest in these studios to port it over to their, PC Xbox store. Or if they really don't care about the financial gain from there, but they just want people to buy the console and pick up Game Pass, because that is the most likely way for someone to buy Game Pass, is to buy the console. Well, they've always got other avenues on the PC market to get them those games. Whereas Sony is not in that situation. So if anything, they have to have everyone in their closed ecosystem. There is no positioning for them. And if consoles get to the point where they end up being $2,000-3,000, which, if this bubble doesn't burst soon, could potentially happen with the next generation consoles, how many of them do you think that people are going to go and buy instead of building a PC, which can do everything? Or if you want that console experience, get a Helix. Right? But their arrogance is what's allowing them to do what they're doing right now, because, this PS4 was highly successful. 120 million as compared to the 60 million that Xbox sold. And in this generation, you're looking at 40 million to 100 million. I know it's shipped, but that's the number that the media is looking at and everyone else. It's a massive margin. And when studios turn around and say, or someone, like CD Projekt Red turns around and says, our lead platform is PlayStation. It looks like Rockstar's lead platform is PlayStation. How much, you're giving this corporation so much power. And if you go back to the 360 days, right? If you go back to the 360 days, Japanese developers were choosing to make games exclusive, like Dead or Alive, to Xbox because they did not want Sony to get too big and arrogant. But they also did it in a way that didn't show them taking sides, because they were scared of what Sony would do, because they saw previously what Sony did do. And if you don't know, Sony at the time when the Dreamcast was available turned around and said, if you're releasing this game on Dreamcast, you cannot release it on our PlayStation. Right? This was confirmed in 2024 at the GDC by Rockstar when they were working. When they were working on one of the GTA games that they had running on the Dreamcast, and they told Rockstar, if you release it on Dreamcast, you cannot release it on. Was it GTA? It was GTA on PlayStation. Right? They've done this before, and these Japanese developers knew how bad Sony could actually get with their arrogance. And so they tried to help Xbox by getting them those exclusives to help build the Xbox brand and get people buying the Xbox console. So when you've got your own, when you've got Japanese developers who clearly saw what was happening, trying to change the tide, doesn't that tell you everything you need to know about PlayStation? Virtua Fighter wasn't on PlayStation. I think it was GTA 3, PS5.
And Sony just absolutely wrecked them. I wonder if she understands that, like, that's what has put Sony in this position ultimately, and why Xbox is still kind of on the back foot here. It would be amazing if we could communicate to her at this point, because I've completely given up on Sony. Sony's not listening. They don't care. They want nothing to do with us. I almost wonder if we could properly communicate to Asha Sharma, get her attention, and let her know that this is a golden opportunity for Xbox, okay? This is their opportunity to kind of get revenge on Sony for what happened previously, where now Sony has completely turned.
It's interesting. He doesn't say what Sony did previously, but what actually happened there? Do you remember when the Xbox One was unveiled and it had the DRM, the Kinect camera, and all of this? And a lot of that was actually, really, really negatively taken, especially the Kinect camera. Well, I know for a fact that this is true. Sony was actually going to reveal PlayStation 4 with the PlayStation Eye, bundled in at a higher price. And it was supposed to come with the console to encourage developers. So everyone that buys a PlayStation 4 console gets the PlayStation Eye so they can make games for that peripheral. And then they saw the negative reaction. And they quickly created an image without the PlayStation Eye in there. They crunched the numbers while Xbox was on stage doing what they were doing, came up with a price point that was way lower than what Xbox had, because they now removed the hardware from the bundle. And when they came on stage, they were able to do what they did. But had PlayStation actually gone on stage first, we would be looking at a much different, situation right now. We would be looking at a much different situation. I would think so. I know Virtua Fighter 5 is. I'm pretty sure Virtua Fighter 4 is. But yeah, that actually happened at the E3 presentation when they were unveiling the consoles. Xbox went first. They saw the backlash and they changed everything in the back. How 20 minutes can change the trajectory.
to the villain, and they are so big that they know they can do whatever they want. All Asha Sharma has to do is announce we are going to have a disk drive for Project Helix, and we are going to have physical disk-based next-gen games for Project.
They don't even have physical games for the Xbox Series X. What makes them think that the Helix is going to have even if it had a drive? I think it will have a drive personally. I know Jez is saying it won't, but I think it will, for the sole purpose that if this disc to digital thing is going to work, it needs a drive, because you still need to put the disc in periodically for it to validate that you've still got the disc. Otherwise, the digital game stops working. Maybe it's once every 30 days, whatever it is, but you still need the disc. And so how would it work if it doesn't have a disc? So to me, Helix is going to have a disc drive. But they kind of don't release any physical games anymore. They do have physical games for Xbox. I mean, I saw this coming out on physical. Where is it? We'll go back to the video in just a sec. Edge of Memories. I know the studio is all but gone, but I will pick this up on Xbox. I'm looking forward to this game. It's an RPG. So, they do come and go.
Project Helix. If she announces that, it would be quite literally the biggest fuck you to Sony.
Look, I want you to say, right, that if Microsoft if Xbox announces that the Helix has a disc drive, I want you to say, MBG, that you will switch over to Xbox and you will become an Xbox going forward. That's what I want to hear. No half-assing this. If Sony sticks to this, that's what I want you to say.
That Xbox would have ever produced. And considering that this is exactly what Sony did to Microsoft back in 2013 and 2014, and again is what has put them in this position.
There you go. That's what I was talking about regarding the Kinect and the iToy, whatever Sony was going to use. That's what he's referring to there in 2013. That's exactly what he was referring to. How Sony, one-upped and done them over.
It would be incredible to see that. It's absolutely wild. I did not think I would be sitting here talking about the new Xbox CEO saying, hey, maybe it's time, maybe it's time you do something to Sony here, because we've been trying and Sony doesn't care. Sony does not care. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the video. I'll continue to keep you updated, but man, this is just an absolute joke.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But look, to MBG, what I will say is this. Xbox welcomes you, so thank you. We'll accept your custom for the next 25 years. Like, that's what I want to hear from him, man, and I'll hold him accountable to that. I know he's going to get a PS6. Everyone knows that. Microsoft does matter to sales end. Only know that now, as I'm trying to construct an argument to push the idea of doing a Play Anywhere Humble Bundle. Hey, look, that would be insane. If you could push something like that through, that'd be cool, man. I know there's a waifu bundle on there right now. Not that I bought it. Just saying. You wouldn't catch me buying that waifu bundle. Man, suddenly I've got a really bad cough every time I'm talking about that bundle. I'm brutal. Hey, what can I say? But folks, that's all she wrote. That's all I have for you for today. Hopefully, we'll have a bit more on Thursday. But, man of culture. what I will say is, if you have enjoyed the stream, thank you so much for being here. If you're new, do consider subscribing and leaving a like. And again, we are trying to grow over at Twitch. So if you do enjoy hanging out and talking about stuff more casually rather than these pre-planned streams, feel free to stop there. We do talk about gaming all the time while we're playing. So, more the merrier. Again, the link is in the description below. Happy to have you there. And if you could drop a follow, that would be absolutely amazing, as I'm trying to get to 50 followers. It's only started about a week ago, I'd say, over at Twitch. So maybe 10 days. So it's growing quite nicely. So hopefully I'll see you there tomorrow. But with that said, I'm going to go check out that Humble Bundle with the waifus. I haven't bought it yet. Just to see how audaciously, unceremonious it is. And I'll let you guys know. All right, folks. That is going to be it. Thank you so much. Peace out. And remain legend. I'm out.